Shabbat Shalom, my brothers and sisters in Yahweh, and welcome. Welcome to our next Bible study. Tonight we are studying, better put my glasses on so I can see here, Bemidbar, which is Numbers. And we will be going over chapter 16, 17, and 18. So go ahead and grab your Bibles and get comfortable, and we'll get started this evening. Praise Yahweh that we get to be together on Shabbat. Praise the Father for allowing us to learn about Him, to learn about His Word. Praise Yahweh. Alright, gang, let's get started tonight. Alright. Bemidbar, which is Numbers, chapter 16. Going to be a good study tonight. There's a lot here. And Korah, son of Yitzhar, son of Kahath, son of Levi, took both Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, son of Peleth, son of Reuben. And they rose up before Moshe with some of the children of Israel, 250 leaders of the congregation, called ones of the meeting, men of name. And they assembled against Moshe and against Aaron. They were going against them. And said to them, Enough of you, for all the congregation is set apart, all of them, and Yahweh is in their midst. Why then do you lift up yourselves above the assembly of Yahweh? So they're calling out Moshe and Aaron. Verse 4, And when Moshe heard, he fell on his face, and spoke to Korah and all his companions, saying, Tomorrow morning Yahweh shall make known who is his, and who is set apart, and bring him near to him, and let him bring near to him the one whom he chooses. Do this. Take fire holders, Korah, and all your company, and put fire in them, and put incense in them before Yahweh tomorrow. And it shall be that the one whom Yahweh chooses is the set apart one. Enough of you, sons of Levi. And Moshe said to Korah, Hear now, you sons of Levi, it is little to you that Elohim of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to perform the service of the dwelling place of Yahweh, and to stand before the congregation to serve them. Okay, now remember, back in Leviticus chapter 8, if you were following and reading along with us, you know who is supposed to be in the service of the tent of appointment and who is supposed to be the priests, according to Yahweh. Okay? He set apart the Levites as being the people that serve the tent. Carry all the stuff, they pack it all up, they put it all together when they set up camp. They take care of the tent of appointment. Okay? The sons of Aaron are the priests. Okay? Just so we got all that straight. If you want, go back to Leviticus 8 and reread it. So that way you see with your own eyes what we're talking about here, because we need to be straight on all of this. Verse 10, And that he has brought you near to himself, you and all your brothers, the sons of Levi, with you. Yet you seek the priesthood as well. Therefore, you and all your company are set against Yahweh. And Aaron, what is he that you grumble against him? And Moshe sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, But they said, we are not coming up. So they're in defiance. They're in rebellion. Straight up rebellion. Okay? Kohath is having a temper tantrum saying that they want to be priests. But these two guys, they wouldn't even show up to the meeting. Okay? Verse 13. Is it little that you have brought us up out of the land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness? That you would also seize total rule over us? They're rebelling hard. Also, you have not brought us into the land flowing with milk and honey, nor given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Would you bore out the eyes of these men? We are not coming up. So, even though they were whining and complaining because they were scared after the report that they received of the land of milk and honey, now they're saying, you should have given it to us anyway. Spoiled little kids. Now, let's see what Dad has to say about all of this. And Moshe became very displeased and said to Yahweh, do not respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, nor have I done harm to any of them. So Moshe is talking to Yahweh, and him and Yahweh are, face to face, and he's telling Yahweh, these guys, they're lost, man. They are totally losers. I was standing up for them before, but I ain't standing up for them now. I'm just done with them too. Verse 16. Then Moshe said to Korath, tomorrow you and all your company shall be there before Yahweh, you and they, and Aaron. And take each one his fire holder, and you shall put incense in it. And let each one bring his fire holder before Yahweh, 250 fire holders, and you and Aaron, each one with his fire holder. So each one took his fire holder, and put fire in it, and laid incense on it, and stood at the door of the tent of appointment with Moshe and Aaron. And Korah assembled all the congregation against them at the door of the tent of appointment. Then the esteem of Yahweh appeared to all the congregation. So they assembled the entire congregation to witness this was going to happen. So now Yahweh's there. Dad just showed up, and we're going to find out. Verse 20. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, saying, separate yourselves from the midst of this congregation, and let me consume them in a moment. But they fell on their faces and said, O Elohim of the spirits of all flesh, when one man sins, are you wroth with all the congregation? And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the congregation, saying, move away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. So Moshe rose up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Yisrael followed him. So the elders were chasing along behind him. Verse 26. And he spoke to the congregation, saying, please, turn away from the tents of these wrong men. Do not touch whatever belongs to them, lest you be consumed in all their sins. Sins? Lawlessness. Because they wouldn't go along with the Torah that Yahweh gave them concerning all of this. Lawlessness is sin. Verse 27. Then they moved away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the door of their tents with their wives and their sons and their little children. And Moshe said, by this you know that Yahweh has sent me to do all these works, that they are not from my own heart. If these die, as all men do, or if they are visited, as all men are visited, then Yahweh has not sent me. But if Yahweh creates what is unheard of, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down alive into Sheol, then you shall know that these men have scorned. Okay? Sheol. We remember from our studies in Enoch about Sheol. Sheol is the place of the dead. And according to Enoch, there's two valleys. One valley is got fruit trees and water running through it, and it's really a pleasant place. The other one is desolate and jagged and rocky and not good. No water, no nothing. Okay, so that gives you an idea what Sheol is. It's a place of the dead. That's where we go to wait until Judgment Day. Verse 31. And it came to be, as he ended speaking all these words, that the ground under them split apart, and the earth opened its mouth, and swallowed them up with their households, and all the men with Korah, with all their goods. So they and all those with them went down alive into Sheol, and the earth closed over them, and they perished from the midst of the assembly. And all Israel who were round about them fled at their cry, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up. And fire came out from Yahweh, and consumed the 250 men who were offering incense. All right, if you guys were following along with our Leviticus 10 study, then you'll understand what happens when you offer wrong incense, or you ain't supposed to be the one offering incense, or you're drunk, or whatever the case is. You'll understand why those guys were toasted with the incense burners. Okay, but you got to go through the Leviticus 10 study to be able to understand all that. So y'all might go back and check that all out. Also, according to Numbers 5 or 15:30, which we just studied last week, back here in Numbers 15:30, it says, but the being who does whatever defiantly, whether he is native or a stranger, he reviles Yahweh, and that being shall be cut off from among his people, because he has despised the word of Yahweh and has broken his commandment. That being shall certainly be cut off. His crookedness is upon him. So these guys rebelling the way that they did, they are purposely sinning. They know that what they're doing is not right, but they're doing it anyway because they're power hungry and they want their 30 seconds of fame. Well, they're going to get it. They are going to get it. Okay. Let's see here. Verse 36. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, say to Eleazar, son of Aaron, the priest, to pick up the fire holders out of the blaze, for they are set apart, and scatter the fire some distance away. The fire holders of these men who sinned against their own lives, let them be made into beaten plates as a covering for the slaughter place, because they brought them before Yahweh. Therefore they are set apart. And let them become a sign to the children of Israel. So now the entire congregation saw the ground open up and absolutely swallow Korah and his family, his entire family, and his tent and everything, and the other two guys that wouldn't even show up to the meeting, sucked them right into the ground. The ground covered them up, gone. But the 250 guys that were standing around with incense in their hands, who are not priests, Yahweh smoked them, because they brought fire before Yahweh, and they weren't supposed to. So now he's going to take those incense burners and have the Levites flatten them out like plates to put them around the outside of the altar, so that everyone in the congregation can see those plates. And they all seen this happen, so they know. They know where those came from, and they know what they represent. It's a reminder to the children of Israel. Do not go against Yahweh, and do not go against Moshe or Aaron. All right, let's continue on. Oh, let's see here. Verse 39. And Eleazar, the priest, took the bronze fire holders, which those who were burned up had brought, and they were beaten out as a covering on the slaughter place, a remembrance to the children of Israel, that no stranger who is not of the seed of Aaron should come near to offer incense before Yahweh, and not be like Korah and his company, as Yahweh had said to him through Moshe. Okay, let's think about this for just a second. Right now what's going on in Israel. They have just opened up a Leviticus school to teach Judah, the Jews, one tribe, not the Levites, the tribe of Judah, because the Jews, how to be Levitic priests and to serve in the third temple, which they just burned the red heifer to make soap to sanctify it when they get it built. How do you think all that's going to go over with Yahweh? That this isn't even the tribe of Levi, nevertheless, sons of Aaron, that are being trained up as Levitic priests. Something worth thinking about. Thinking about this during the end times. Interesting, huh? Alright, just a little side note. Verse 41, but all the congregation of the children of Israel grumbled against Moshe and against Aaron on the next day, saying, You have killed the people of Yahweh. And it came to be, when the congregation assembled against Moshe and against Aaron, that they turned toward the tent of appointment, and see, the cloud covered it, and the esteem of Yahweh appeared. Going against them again. Didn't learn their lesson yesterday. They're doing the same thing again today. Verse 43, and Moshe and Aaron came before the tent of appointment. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Arise from the midst this congregation, and let me consume them in a moment. And they fell on their faces. So Moshe said to Aaron, Take the fire holder, and put fire in it from the slaughter place, and lay incense on it, and go, hurry to the congregation, and make atonement for them, for wrath has gone out from Yahweh, the plague has begun. Yahweh didn't even think twice about it. He just sent out a plague and started smoking them, because he's done. He is so done. So the only thing that Moshe could do was to send Aaron, the high priest, out with his incense burner with incense and run through the crowd to try to get atonement for those people before they got smoked by the plague. Let's see what happens next. Verse 47, and Aaron took it as Moshe commanded, and ran into the midst of the assembly, and saw that the plague had begun among the people. And he laid on the incense and made atonement for the people, and stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stopped. And those who died in the plague were 14,700, beside those who died on account of Korah. So above the 250 and the house of Korah and the other two guys that got killed with Korah, 14,700 more were smoked for going against Yahweh and Moshe and Aaron. Verse 50, then Aaron returned to Moshe at the door of the tent of appointment, for the plague had stopped. Yeah, well, Dad's having to prove his point. Back in 15, it talks about all of this. All about those who are sinning by mistake and how to make atonement for their sins, and then those that sin on purpose. And these people are just being stubborn, stiff-necked, and nasty. They have no faith, and, they are going against the Most High and against His chosen, His set apart, Aaron and Moshe. Didn't go very good for him, did it? Like we talked about yesterday, or 2 days ago. Dad has to make a point. Dad has to make a point about all of this, or else they're not going to listen. So look at how many he has smoked. And how many times has Moshe tried to run interference between Yahweh smoking them and trying to keep him from doing that? Because Dad's mad. He's fed up with it. And Moshe keeps trying to hold him off, hold him off, hold him off. Well, he didn't get a chance to hold him off this time. And Yahweh spread a plague. And wow, if it wasn't for Moshe's quick thinking and having Aaron run out there with the incense and run around everybody to give atonement for them, it could have been really bad. It's bad enough as it is. All right, chapter 17. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and take from them a rod from each father's house, all their leaders according to their father's houses, 12 rods. Write each one's name on his rod. So go around and get sticks. Get a stick from each one of the leaders, from each one of the tribes, put their name on it, take a knife and scratch their name in it, and then bring them up to Moshe. Verse 3, And write Aaron's name on the rod of Levi, for there is one rod for the head of each father's house. You shall then place them in the tent of appointment before the witness, where I meet with you. So in front of the ark. Verse 5, And it shall be that the rod of the man whom I choose buds, and I shall rid myself of the grumbling of the children of Israel, which they grumble against you. And Moshe spoke to the children of Israel, and all their leaders gave him a rod each, for each leader according to their father's house, 12 rods. And the rod of Aaron was among their rods. So Moshe placed the rods before Yahweh in the tent of the witness. And it came to be on the next day that Moshe went into the tent of the witness, and saw that the rod of Aaron of the house of Levi had budded, and brought forth buds, and blossomed, and bore ripe almonds. And Moshe brought out all the rods from before Yahweh to all the children of Israel, and they looked, and each man took his rod. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Bring Aaron's rod back before the witness, to be kept as a sign against the rebels, so that you put an end to their grumblings against me, lest they die. And Moshe did as Yahweh had commanded him, so he did. And the children of Israel spoke to Moshe, saying, See, we shall die, we shall perish, we shall all perish. Well, they were already told that because of the fact that they wouldn't just go into the land of milk and honey. Yahweh already told them that the next 40 years you're going to drop dead in the wilderness. So they know they're doomed. Verse 13, Anyone who comes near the dwelling place of Yahweh dies. Shall we be consumed to die? Remember, the Levites are camped around the tent of appointment to keep anybody from getting in there. They're guarding it. So yeah, if any of the other tribes approaches the tent, they're going to get smoked. So they're learning that they better obey. Because if they don't obey, Dad's going to smoke them. As parents, we have to teach our children. And in order to teach our children, sometimes you got to give them a swat on the butt. Get their attention. Not hurt them, but just to get their attention. And that's what Yahweh's doing, except for it's a little bit more because He gave them life. He can take it away. Our lives belong to Yahweh. They're not our own. We were created by the Most High, and our lives belong to Him. Our souls belong to Him too. You can't just go and sell them. We all belong to Yahweh, unless if you're a test tube baby or a clone who have no souls, because Yahweh did not create them. Man made them. If you have a soul, you belong to Yahweh. Okay, so this is just Dad teaching them all a lesson. Knock it off, get in line, and do what you're told. Remember riding around in your parents' car when you'd start screwing around the back seat with your siblings, and your dad would turn, or your mom would turn around, your mom would tell you, knock it off, or else your father's going to pull this car over and whoop your butts. And soon, if you didn't listen to your mom, you just kept doing whatever you're doing, pretty soon when that car pulled over, you straightened up pretty quick, didn't you? All right, chapter 18. And Yahweh said to Aaron, you and your sons and your father's house. Now see, he's just speaking to Aaron. He's not speaking to Moshe. He is just speaking to Aaron. So I wanted to point that out. Let's start this again. And Yahweh said to Aaron, you and your sons and your father's house with you are to bear the crookedness against the set apart place. And you and your sons with you are to bear the crookedness against your priesthood. So they're going to have to deal with this now. But bring with you your brothers of the tribe of Levi too, the tribe of your father, to join you and serve you while you and your sons are with you before the tent of the witness. And they shall guard your charge and the duty of all the tent, but they do not come near the furnishings of the set apart place and the slaughter place, lest they die, both they and you. So he's telling Aaron, you and your sons better make sure that they don't come in here and they don't start messing around with stuff that they ain't supposed to, and do what they're supposed to do, or else you're going to get toasted too. Dad's not happy. Verse 4, and they shall be joined with you, and guard the duty to the tent of appointment, for all the service of the tent, but a stranger does not come near you. And you shall guard the duty of the set apart place, and the duty of the slaughter place, so that there be no more wrath on the children of Israel. Enough is enough. I got my point across. Let's make this be done now. Everybody do what you're supposed to do and quit dinking around. Verse 6, and see, I myself have taken your brothers, the Levites, from the midst of the children of Israel, a gift to you, given by Yahweh to do the service of the tent of appointment. But you and your sons with you are to guard your priesthood for all matters at the slaughter place and behind the veil, and you shall serve. I have given you the priesthood as a gift for service, but the stranger who comes near is put to death. And Yahweh spoke to Aaron. Once again, he's speaking to Aaron and not Moshe. And see, I myself have also given you the charge of my contributions, all the set apart gifts of the children of Israel. I have given them to you for the anointing and for your sons as a law forever. Okay, so anything that the children of Israel are giving as a contribution to Yahweh goes to the Levites, to Aaron. Okay, this is so that because the Levites do not have an inheritance. Okay, they are not part of the inheritance of the land of milk and honey. Their inheritance is Yahweh. So they really have no way of supporting themselves except for the contributions, the tithes that are made to Yahweh. And they get a little bit at the bottom, and then, the Levites get a little bit, and Aaron gets a little bit, and then the rest goes to Yahweh, a tenth of it, okay, because a tithe is a tenth of whatever is given. Let's keep going. Law forever. Verse 9, This is yours of the most set apart gifts from the fire, all their offerings, all their grain offerings, and all their sin offerings, and all their guilt offerings, which they render to me, are most set apart for you and your sons. Eat it in the most set apart place. Every male eats it. It is set apart to you. It's holy just to them. This also is yours, the contribution of their gift, with all the wave offerings of the children of Israel. I have given them to you, and your sons and daughters with you, as a law forever. Everyone who is clean in your house eats it. Okay? So, all of the gifts, the contribution gifts, the wave offerings that they do, that all goes for their food, for their kids. Okay? So they can eat that at home. They don't have to eat that in a set apart place. That goes home. Verse 12, all the best of the oil, all the best of the new wine and the grain, their first fruits, which they give to Yahweh, I have given them to you. The first fruits of all that is in their land, which they bring to Yahweh, are yours. Everyone who is clean in your house eats it. All that is dedicated in Israel is yours. Everyone opening the womb of all flesh, which they bring to Yahweh, whether man or beast, is yours. But to ransom, you shall ransom the firstborn of man, and the firstborn of the unclean beasts you ransom, and ransom their ransomed ones when 1 new moon old, according to your valuation, 5 shekels of silver, according to the shekel of the set apart place, which is 20 gerahs. Okay, now remember when we were talking about in Exodus about how the firstborn were all supposed to be ransomed to Aaron and his sons. Okay, all the firstborn were supposed to go to him. Well, now we have the Levites, which are to be ransomed in their place. So no longer do they have to ransom their firstborn, because Yah changed the rules and made it so that the Levites are ransomed instead. And we're going to get to that in just a second. But the firstborn, verse 17. But the firstborn of a cow, or the firstborn of a sheep, or the firstborn of a goat, you do not ransom. They are set apart. Sprinkle their blood on the slaughter place, and burn their fat as an offering made by fire for a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. Because Yahweh likes barbecue. I do too. The smell of a barbecue, that is a sweet fragrance. Verse 18, and their flesh is yours, as the wave breast, and as the right thigh, it is yours. All the contributions of the set-apart gifts which the children of Israel present to Yahweh, I have given to you and to your sons and daughters with you as a law forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before Yahweh with you and your seed with you. And Yahweh said to Aaron, you are not to have an inheritance in their land, nor have any portion in their midst. I am your portion and your inheritance among the children of Israel. And see, I have given the children of Levi all the tithes in Israel, as an inheritance in return for the servants which they are serving, the service of the tent of appointment. So see how there's kind of a switcheroo there? So now they don't have to dedicate all their firstborn, but the Levites are dedicated. And therefore, because their inheritance is Yahweh, everybody has to contribute to make sure that the Levites and Aaron and his sons are all taken care of. They got plenty of food to eat, and they've got lands that can't be taken away, and their inheritance is Yahweh. Okay, so you can see the separation there and how things have now changed a little bit to just have the children of Levi as the servants of Yah, nobody else, okay? That's why I was talking earlier about how they've set up this Levi church or this school to teach the Jews how to be Levites. We're going to see how that all goes, huh? This ought to be interesting. All right, back to the study. Verse 22. And let the children of Israel no more come near the tent of appointment, lest they bear sin and die. Because the Levites shall do the service of the tent of appointment, so they themselves bear their crookedness, a law forever throughout your generations, that among the children of Israel they are to have no inheritance. But the tithes of the children of Israel, which they present as a contribution to Yahweh, I have given to the Levites as an inheritance. That is why I have said to them, among the children of Israel, they have no inheritance. See how that works? Verse 25, and Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the Levites, and say to them, when you take from the children of Israel the tithes, which I have given you from them as your inheritance, then you shall present a contribution of it to Yahweh, a tenth of the tithe. So whatever they receive from the children of Israel, they have to give a tenth to Yahweh. Okay? Sacrifice it, whatever. Put it on the altar. Verse 27, and your contribution shall be reckoned to you as grain from the threshing floor, and as filling from the winepress. Thus you also present a contribution unto Yahweh from all your tithes which you receive from the children of Israel, and you shall give from it the contribution to Yahweh to Aaron the priest. Okay, so Aaron gets his cut too. Verse 29, from all your gifts you present every contribution due to Yahweh, from all the best of them, the set apart of them, only the best. Remember, that's why Yahweh got mad at Canaan, because Abel had a perfect sacrifice, and Canaan brought his seconds to the party, and Yah didn't want his seconds, as he shouldn't receive them. Verse 31, and you shall eat it in any place, you and your households, for it is your reward for your service in the tent of appointment. So see, you can take it home and munch it there. Verse 32, and bear no sin because of it, when you have presented the best of it, and do not profane the set-apart gifts of the children of Israel, lest you die. All right? And that ends our study for the evening. There's a lot of intense stuff there. There's also tons and tons of meat. I try to teach all this and try to read all this so that people that have never ever cracked open a Bible can understand everything that's going on here, so that there's no questions in their mind. Because you know, and I know, anybody who's ever tried to study the Bible, it's confusing sometimes. And it's very difficult sometimes to understand everything that's going on there. So I try to break it down, you know. But if you want to get more deep into that study, there's a ton of meat in there. So, you know, read it over. Read over the past studies that we've done in Leviticus and in Exodus. You don't even have to watch the videos if you don't want, although it might help you. But do those studies. If you have just found this channel and you've never seen any of our studies before, and if you don't know the Bible, please do yourself a favor. Go back and start at Genesis 1:1 and just start reading like any other book. The videos might help you because I break it down, or at least I try to. I'm not a Bible scholar or a pastor or anything like that. I'm a guy who's read the Bible a bunch, and I try to follow Yah's word to the best of my broken ability, and part of that, I'm trying to help others. So, if the studies help you, that's great. I am so tickled pink because that's what I pray for, that Yahweh helps me to help everyone else through me, work through me to bring people closer to Him. I am by far no expert. So, anytime that you guys have a question about anything that we're reading here, please feel free to put it in the comments. I don't have a problem with that. I'll converse with you, as long as you're not nasty and stinky. But if you got true comments, or if you got true questions, throw them down in the comment section and we'll see what we can figure out for you to try to help you along. It takes a lot to learn this stuff. It takes a lot to learn the Word of Yah. And even though I've been at it for a while, I don't know everything. Still a lot for me to learn. But I'm trying. I'm really trying. And after reading the KJV many times over and over and over again, when I finally did get a good translation of the Bible, a Hebrew to English translation, it's taken me a while to kind of transition over to it, because some of the words are different, some of the names are different, because they're Hebrew, they're not Roman Greco. And in being Hebrew, they have meanings. So, when you come to a name, look it up. Look it up and see what that name means. What does Korath mean? I've never looked it up. Look it up for me. Put it in the comments. Let me know. It's just different because it is a true translation. So, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. We're all just human. But we're all children of the Most High. And He loves us. He loves us so very much. And every day we should be giving Him thanks and praise for the air we breathe, for the sun shining on our flesh, for the world that we live in, even though it's completely and totally corrupt. His creation is absolutely beautiful. Everything that Yahweh created is incredible and beautiful and magnificent, no matter where at in the world you are. It's just Satan has corrupted the flesh, unfortunately. But this is how we fight against that, is we learn Yahweh's word. Okay? Alright. Hey, I hope you all have a great Shabbat. Study and read and spend time with your families, and don't do any work. Don't go shopping. Christmas doesn't matter. Christmas is pagan, and it doesn't matter. Stay home with your family. Read the Word to your family. Sit and study with them. Teach the children, because they're the ones that need it. We all need it. But this next generation is bad. Way bad. They don't know anything. And the ones that do know it have been in these churches that are just corrupt anyway, that they're not teaching properly. Yeah. Anyway, gang, I pray that you find shalom today. Yahweh's shalom, His peace, on His set-apart day. Thank you for joining me and continuing to join me in our studies, and I guess we will see you all on Monday for our next extra canonical study. Y'all have a great Shabbat, and we'll see you then. Shalom.